Hello, this is Guy Barker here, and I'm going to give a quick demo of how to use the Azure Speech Service to create a custom speech service. So here we are at the Azure portal, and I've already created a speech service. Now I'm going to switch to a site cris.ai, and I'm going to sign in at that site using the same credentials as I used when I created the speech service at the Azure portal. Okay, and here we go. So in order to create the custom speech service, I'm going to upload some custom acoustic data and some custom language data. So first I'll start with the custom acoustic data. So I'm going to click on adaptation data, and then acoustic data sets. Now for the acoustic data set, I'll switch to Windows Explorer. For the acoustic data set, there's two parts to this. One is a zip file that I'll upload, which contains a number of WAV files. And the WAV files are recordings of myself with some certain speech. And then I also upload a transcription file, which shows the text equivalent for the speech in the WAV files. So for example, I have a WAV file where I said, this is a demo for the AI4ADemo3 program. And so in the transcription file, I have the WAV file containing that speech and the transcription next to it. So I'll upload those two things now. Click on the import button for acoustic data sets. Name, I'll call it AI4ADemo acoustic data, and these are pre-populated because I ran through this earlier. Okay, and now I'll upload the transcription file. And I'll upload the zip file containing the WAV file. And I could have as many WAV files as I want inside that zip file. I'll click import. Okay, now that acoustic data set is imported. Now I'm also going to upload some language data as well. So for the language data, there's two parts to this. If you want to, you don't have to use all these different types of data, but I'm going to for this demo. So I'm going to have some language data which gives examples of the sorts of words and phrases that I expect to hear in the custom speech, when the speech input of the app. So I've only got one phrase here, and this is a demo of the AI4Accessibility program, but I could have lots of different phrases in here, utterances, if I expect to receive them at the app. So I'll upload that now. Call it AI4A language data. Import that. Okay, and the last piece of data I'm going to upload relates to pronunciation. So basically, if it's easy for the speech-to-text service to misinterpret some speech, if I expect a certain speech to be input at the app, I can actually account for that misinterpretation. So, for example, if I say for in the speech and that gets interpreted as F-O-U-R, I can say, well, if that is recognized, then what I really want is F-O-R instead. So I've done that here. And again, you can have lots of different lines in here for different pronunciations you want to account for. So I'll upload that now. Call that pronunciation data, and I'll upload that. Okay, so that's it. I've uploaded the 3 sets of custom data that I want to use to build my custom speech model. So now we're actually going to create the models based on this data, and we'll start with the acoustic model. So the acoustic model, I'm going to click Create New. Okay, I'll call it AI4A acoustic model. Okay, now when it comes to the scenario here, there's different scenarios that can be selected. In the case of the acoustic model, at the moment there is in fact only one, so I'll select that one. The other ones have been deprecated. Now I'm not going to say that I want some testing, accuracy testing done with this data for a shipping app. I'm sure I would want some accuracy testing to get a feel for how well the data is working, but I'll skip that for now. And the acoustic data that's going to be used to create the model is pre-populated here. So I will say create. Okay, now the acoustic model is now in the pipeline to be created. Its status is currently not started. That will change to running shortly as Azure starts building the model with the data. There we go. And that'll probably take a few minutes to complete. And while that's in progress, I will go to language model and start the creation of a language model based on the language data that I uploaded. So again, I'll say create new. Okay, give it a name of AI for a language model. Now, the scenario is important here because by default, the scenario chosen allows for a language model to be created, but when I go to create the endpoint based on the models I've created, if I choose this model here, then it can't be also part of a model that uses a custom acoustic model. For this demo, I want both a custom acoustic model and language model, so I'm going to change this default scenario to be the conversational one that allows me both acoustic model and language model. So I will do that. Okay, the language data is being populated, pre-populated with the data I uploaded. I also want to say, yes, I want my pronunciation data to be incorporated into the model as well. So I've done that. I'll skip the accuracy testing here and I'll hit create. Okay, and now the language model again is in the pipeline to be created, and in a moment the status of not started will be changed to be running. And once that happens, after a few minutes, both the acoustic models and language models will be ready to use. Okay, and after a few minutes, the language model was created successfully. There's a status of succeeded there. And if we go back to the acoustic model, that also says succeeded. So the two models are now ready to use and to create an endpoint we can call from our app. So I won't click on accuracy test here because I didn't request that we set things up for the accuracy test. And I'll go to endpoints here. Okay, I'm going to create a new endpoint based on the new models created. So I'll click create new. Okay, I'll give it a name of AI for a demo to create a new name for this. AI for a demo custom speech endpoint. Okay, now the scenario, I want to have both the acoustic model, my acoustic model, and my language model used. So I'll go for the conversational scenario. It gives me an option for those for me to do that. Okay, and pre-populated there are my acoustic model selected and my language model selected. I'll say I do accept the terms of use and pricing information. I'll go ahead and click create there, and now the endpoint is going to be set up for me based on those two custom models that I created for my acoustic data and language data. It says running here, and for the current subscription I'm using here, I get told there's concurrent recognitions of 1, which a shipping app would want to have more, likely want to have more concurrent recognitions available. Okay, and after about 30 seconds or so, the endpoint was created. So I want to learn something about these endpoint. So if I go to details, I'll scroll down. I'm told basically here are some endpoints that an app could call, depending on the my needs in the app, and also there's a key an app could use to call the custom speech model. So there we go. That was the creation of a custom speech service using the Azure Speech Service. Thank you.